All right, today we're going to tackle something huge. I'm talking about the sprawling 5,000-year history of the Indian subcontinent. Now, how in the world do you condense all of that into just a few minutes? Well, we're going to try, and we're going to use one single really powerful visual to guide us through it all. I mean, it's a massive task, right? A true historical mountain. So, to even begin to make sense of it all, we're going to frame our journey in a pretty unique way. So this is going to be our map, a chronological ladder. Simple, right? Each rung you see represents a major historical era. We're going to start at the very, very bottom and literally climb our way up to the present day. You ready? Let's start climbing. Okay, our climb begins with the very first steps on this ladder. We're talking about the ancient origins, the stuff that formed the bedrock for thousands of years of history to come. Our very first rung on the ladder is the Indus Valley Civilization. And listen, this was no small settlement. We are talking about one of the world's great early urban cultures. Just picture this, meticulously planned cities. I mean, grid layouts, sophisticated drainage systems. And this was all flourishing over 4,000 years ago. What an incredible foundation to start with. All right, from there, we take another step up into the Vedic period. Now, this era marks a really profound cultural shift. This is when the Vedas were born, the foundational scriptures of Hinduism that would go on to shape the subcontinent's spiritual and social fabric for literally thousands of years. Our next step up, this one marks a big political evolution, the rise of the Mahajanapadas, or Great Realms. Out of 16 of these major kingdoms, one called Magadha really emerged as a dominant powerhouse. And this was a critical moment, right? It was the transition from all these scattered tribal groups to large, organized kingdoms. It was basically setting the stage for what was about to come next. And that groundwork, all that organization laid by kingdoms like Magadha, well, it leads us directly into our next major era, the Age of Empires. This is where things get big. It's a period of consolidation, where powerful rulers start unifying these huge stretches of the subcontinent for the very first time. And this brings us to a huge leap up our ladder, the Maurya Empire. Now this was the very first empire to control nearly the entire subcontinent, a true pan-Indian state. It was defined by a really strong centralized administration and, of course, most famously by Emperor Ashoka. His conversion and his patronage of Buddhism helped spread it far and wide. Next up, we reach what a lot of people call India's Golden Age, the Gupta Empire. And this wasn't just about military might, not at all. It was a straight-up explosion of intellectual and artistic genius. I mean, this is the era that gives the world incredible advancements in math, including, get this, the revolutionary concept of zero, plus breakthroughs in astronomy, literature, art, just a true high point on our journey. Okay, as we keep climbing, the landscape starts to change. And I mean dramatically. This next phase is all about the arrival of new powers from Central Asia, and they introduce a completely different political and cultural dynamic to the subcontinent. So our next step brings us to the Delhi Sultanate. For 300 years, you have a succession of 5 different Turco-Afghan dynasties ruling from the strategic heart of northern India. And this wasn't just some change in leadership. It completely infused the region with Persian as the court language, brand new architectural styles, different ways of running things. It created this vibrant cultural center in Delhi that honestly reshaped the map for centuries. And from the foundations of that sultanate rises one of history's most famous empires, the Mughal Empire. For over 200 years, the Mughals didn't just rule, they presided over an era of just immense wealth, amazing artistic fusion, and centralized power that brought most of the subcontinent together. And their legacy? It's literally set in stone, in architectural masterpieces like the Taj Mahal, a symbol of India that still captivates the entire world. But empires rarely go unchallenged, right? Our next step up the ladder is the Maratha Empire. Led by some really formidable Hindu warriors, this powerful confederacy of states rose up from the Deccan Plateau to challenge and eventually fracture Mughal authority. And for a while, they actually became the dominant power across the subcontinent. It was a massive internal shift in who held the reins. All right, we are getting near the top of our ladder now. These last few rungs, they cover one of the most dramatic and transformative periods in all of Indian history. This is the final ascent into the modern world. Now, take a look at this. It really shows the fundamental shift we're about to see. For centuries, power had shifted back and forth between various homegrown empires. But now, for the very first time, control was about to pass to a distant foreign power. And that brings us to the second to last rung on our ladder, the British Raj. After decades of growing corporate influence, the British Crown itself took direct control. And this period, it would completely reshape the subcontinent's economy, its laws, its society, all while at the same time sowing the seeds of a powerful and determined movement for its own end, independence. So, after a long, hard-fought struggle for independence, we finally reach the very top of our ladder. This is it, a brand new beginning for the subcontinent. And here we are, the summit, the Indian Republic. On January 26, 1950, India adopted its constitution, becoming a sovereign, secular, and democratic nation. You know, it really is the final and maybe the most profound transformation in this entire incredible 5,000-year journey. So think about it. We've just climbed this ladder all the way from ancient cities to one of the world's largest modern nations. It's an incredible story of continuity and of change. Which, of course, leaves us with one final question for you. After this immense journey, what do you think the next rung on the ladder of Indian history is going to be?